Hey money friends, it's not quite the end of 2020, but today I wanted to look back at my 2020 goals and see all of the progress that I've made. I know exactly how much I will still be contributing by the end of the year, so I figure now is as good a time as any to just wrap it up and do a recap of my 2020 goals and what I've achieved in 2020, because soon I'm going to be sharing my 2021 goals and I'm very excited about those. So let's look today at what we've done in 2020 and how far we've come, what goals we hit, and what goals we missed. If you are new here, my name is Mary, and this is Pennies Not Perfection, where we talk about money and being consistent, not perfect, because you don't actually have to never make a mistake financially to succeed. You just have to learn the basics and be consistent with what you're doing to hit your goals. That is what we've done all year long. We have worked consistently every single month to hit our goals, and today I'm going to show you what we've actually achieved with that consistency.
Hopping over to my planner, I have my 2020 money goals written out. This is the list that I made at the beginning of 2020 and all the things that I wanted to accomplish for the year. So I'm going to look at this list and then go through each one and tell you how I've done so far. It's a couple weeks till the end of the year, but because I know how much money we have allocated toward everything, I know that I will not be hitting certain goals, so I'm just going to share what we will accomplish and what we won't quite hit. So the first goal was to finish car savings and buy a car, which was a big priority. So we did it. We saved up and we bought a $13,400 car, and we did that around March, I think. And it was a wonderful choice. We bought a Ford Edge and I drive it every day and I love it. It's so wonderful. The second goal for 2020 was to max out my Roth IRA. That is one Roth IRA that we have. My husband does not have one, so we were just going to max out mine because we don't ever actually hit that goal, and we are 40% done with the goal. We have not hit it in the calendar year of 2020, but we will finish by April. And that's only because I actually decided after this goal, I went back and instead of starting with 2020, I went back and funded some for 2019 early in 2020. So 3, our goal was to pay off loan 4B, which was $4,891. Did it. And then goal 4 was to pay off loan 4C, which was $5,744. And we have done both of those. They didn't necessarily get paid off in that loan name because I refinanced and that brought down the interest rate, so it was really all lumped into one, but we are down to less than $6,000 at the end of the year, and we'll be down to probably $2,000 or $3,000 by the end of 2020, so we definitely knocked those out because we started the year with far more than $23,000, and my goal was just to pay off 9 to 10, and I have killed that goal for debt payoff. I will be doing a video of how much debt total we've paid off in 2020, so you'll see those numbers soon. And then goal number 5 was to start car number 2 savings, and we have not really done that. We have been adding to a car repair / replacement fund, so there is some money in there, but it's nothing substantial and nothing that we would use to buy a car. So we really haven't done much of this, and for the most part, we share the good car, the new car that is mine technically. But we do have a car repair fund, so we sort of started it and it did grow, but it's not something that we prioritize just because having one car and then for most of the year working from home or not really going anywhere, we didn't feel the need to rush this goal. 2020 kind of threw a lot of goals into disarray and change things, so we're just going to move this goal to 2021. Then goal number 6 was to add $5,000 to our emergency fund, and we did that as well. That was done during the pandemic quarantine where we were working from home, and that was a big priority because I wasn't really sure if I was going to be able to keep my job because our industry really suffered a lot. Things are better now, but for a while I was really unsure about my job, so we did add $5,000. We actually added $9,000 in savings, so we went from a $1,000 to a $10,000 emergency fund, and I'm really glad we did that. Technically, we could use that money to pay off the rest of our debt, but the pandemic and everything around it this year has really taught us that instability is so close to any of us, and none of us really know or are able to control that. So I would rather have that money in the bank than pay down low interest debt. That's just a personal decision that we came to because 2020 has taught us a lot of lessons. And the final goal on this list was actually my husband's, to develop a side income. And I don't talk about this a lot because it was his goal and I really had nothing to do with it. And he actually did not do the one I expected him to do, but he did develop a side income this year. It wasn't the leather making business that I thought. He is still doing that as a hobby, but instead, to make side income, he started selling stuff on Mercari. He actually sold things that he no longer needed or wanted, or things that I had put into my decluttering pile, and he also found a few things that he flipped. So he did pretty good with this, and it helped fund our vacation, and it also helped fund some of his personal money spending. So that really was helpful because he has cut back on what he takes from our salary so that we're putting more toward debt and stuff. And he also got a raise at work. So really he's like bumped up his income a lot this year, and I'm very proud of him. It is awesome. He is doing a great job. So for the most part in 2020, we really did finish most of our goals. The two that we did not finish, one is being moved to 2021 because it's not that big of a deal. And then one we will finish in 2021 in the first couple months. So really, I feel very good about how we did with our 2020 money goals. So I'm very excited that this has been such a successful year, even with all of the craziness and instability and just everything that's happened this year. It's been a learning experience for sure, and we've definitely adjusted and changed a lot of how we do things. And I'm very much looking forward to 2021, hoping that it is a different kind of year than 2020, but the lessons from 2020 are definitely going to carry on much further than I probably expected when I started this year and made all of these goals written down. I would say, all things considered, that 5 out of 7 goals, and really 6 out of 7 goals that will be finished completely, is pretty good, and I am happy with our progress. So next, let's look at what I had on the back of my sheet that weren't number related goals, but just goals for 2020 that I really wanted to accomplish regardless. I did have several secondary goals, and those were things that I wanted to do. So some of them I did and some I didn't. So I wanted to do no spend month, and I did one of those. Creating a travel plan I did make, and then really it all fell apart. We did do a couple trips, but they weren't what I had originally planned. So the travel hacking and travel planning didn't really happen. Investing for fun every month, I did. I played around with Robinhood and In1 Finance. Increasing the 529 plan, we did not do because we had family decide to monthly contribute, so we didn't really think that we wanted to do that. I did start researching the next home and neighborhood that we want to live in, so that was a thing that we did. And then we did find a preschool for my daughter. It is more expensive than I had thought, and we had to do it way earlier than I had planned just because the pandemic shut down our original daycare, so we lost that. And then my final goal was to work on self-talk holding me back in business, which YouTube is my business, I guess. And that kind of worked because now I earned $3,700 in a month, which is the most I've ever earned. So yay! That was a pretty big thing for me. So overall, I feel like we did really good with our 2020 goals, and I am very happy with our accomplishments this year.
Those are my goals for 2020, and I will soon be publishing my goals for 2021 here on the channel, so make sure you subscribe for that. And if you are looking at your own goals for either this year or the next year, remember that the thing that matters most is consistency, because consistency always beats perfection.